It is an exciting news for persons living with disability in Nigeria, as the government has finally heed to their cry on the implementation of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which was signed in 2007, as this will aid them enforce their rights if violated. Also, the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities are imploring the federal government not to rest on its horses by making available not less than 5% of the workforce to qualify persons with disabilities in the social strata.
You would recall that the struggle and agitation for the enactment of a legislation that will protect and guarantee the rights of persons with disabilities and provide for their welfare and well-being had spanned over 19 years. Though Nigeria in 2010 ratified and signed the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, which was signed in 2007 and ratified in 2010, even with that piece of advocacy tool, it was still very difficult for us to enforce our rights as persons with disability whenever it was violated, because there were no legal instruments to do so. We are glad that President Muhammad Buhari had listened to our collective cries, implemented Article 4 of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, which clearly stipulates that state parties are required to put in place national disability legislation and establish the requisite agencies that will be responsible for the implementation of the law. The president was magnanimous enough to offer a brief lapse, after a brief lapse of time, answer the call and implemented the Disability Act. And accordingly, on 24th September 2020, the National Commission for Persons with Disability was established. Accordingly, we call on the Disability Commission to hit the ground running on plans and projects that will bring succor to the disability community. We have experienced a lot of attitudinal barrier, perception. You don't just give us the chance. You're conducting an interview, maybe there's an job advert and everyone has applied and I did it online and I scored the best. And it's time for you to have a face-to-face interaction with me, at least to get to know who will be working in the workforce. And I appear in my wheelchair. Oh my God, your shoulder drops. Now, but I scored the best in the aptitude test. It's time for us to interact. You dropped your shoulder. You don't even give me a chance because of your perception of what people with disability can't and cannot do. So one of the barriers that will stop us here is the attitudinal barrier, the perception. They don't even give us the time to even get into the space. Be it as it may, that is just one of those. Then when we get into the space, you now expect me to function, knowing that I will still experience some kind of barriers. Okay, you managed to allow me to get into the space. Now I am here. I need to work. And you're not providing for me that reasonable accommodation I just spoke about. And apart from the computer that I've used as a blind, also people with physical disabilities, the workplace and how the environment should look like. How is your restroom? If I work in an establishment and my wheelchair cannot go through the door of the restroom, do you know I discourage and I'm pressed? I can't even use your restroom. And maybe I need to crawl on the floor to use your restroom. I don't think I want to. Psychologically, I'm out. So those are the tiny things that we need to take into consideration as we begin to look at this work, 5% work.
From 2008, you have just a grace of like 5 years to make all public structures and any other structures that are service providers to make it accessible to persons with disabilities. We are also within this moratorium to ensure that offices that does not have persons with disabilities in their employ, to ensure that they fill the quota up to 5% of whatever number they have in their employment.
Since they were born into their that is the challenge with disability issues with marginalized groups, because if you also look at it, you ask you that how will it benefit them in Nigeria? There's nothing about you without you. If there's no Minister of Women Affairs today, where do you think even we who are in the cities will be? So you have to deal with it yourself. That's the unfortunate thing. That's why you, the media, has a constitutional role. Then the number of the persons with disability, let me tell you, too many people, you know, they live in denial. So there are more people, especially with the insecurity, with the with kidnapping, all forms of insecurity around the social vices. The number has tripled. The people live in denial for pride because of stigma, fear of being sacked from work. You may be talking to somebody who's not answering you. Say, what the hell is this person doing? He cannot hear. But doesn't want to say, I'm a person living with disability. So these are all courageous people who have come out to say, look, we are living with disabilities. That's why, like Madam President, I think you will share with all of them again. The different models of disability. People just perceive and they are so sympathetic or so suspicious. This is the challenge we have.